1,000-yard rusher. Week 2 at the Kingdom in Seattle. The Denver Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks. And hello, everyone, and welcome aboard with Phil Simms and Paul McGuire. This town devastated a week ago. High hopes for the year. They were thrashed by the New York Jets. It's been a tough week for everyone.
Well, a lot of emotions have been running rampant here in Seattle. And you talk about emotions. When you have two teams that are somewhat equal in talent, whoever has the emotional edge usually can win that game. So it's so big in the NFL. What it does, it helps teams in preparation. It makes the players and coaches pay attention to those little things in meetings. They pay attention a little more on the practice field. So what I'm trying to tell you is, with all this emotional edge, playing at home, Seattle has it all going for them. If they don't play well and have a chance to win today, it's going to be a long year for them.
You bet. And Mike Shanahan has a win in the bank, and yet he wasn't totally pleased last week.
I know you talk to coaches, you think, well, you got to win. So what? Big deal. But I'll tell you what he's mad about. He's mad about penalties. You see those 8 penalties for 69 yards? Most of those occurred in touchdown drives. What they had to do was settle for 4 field goals. That he didn't like. He felt they should have had 4 touchdowns.
Well, and the Seahawks don't like the fact they've lost their starting quarterback, John Freeze, to an injury a week ago.
Well, mental breakdowns killed Seattle last week on defense and on offense. That's why John Freeze got hurt. A blitz. They do not pick up the blitz. He breaks his thumb. Warren Moon is in today. He comes in a tough situation. They need his leadership and good play from him.
And for Denver, of course, at quarterback, John Elway, and he's already at work.
All 45 of us right here can run our own destiny. We're better than they are. Let's go out and play like it. Play with a lot of confidence, have some fun, and not take any prisoners. Broncos on 3. 1, 2, 3. Broncos!
Sidelines. I'm here with Cortez Kennedy. Cortez, last team, the team was thoroughly embarrassed. Is the team angry, and has any panic set in, Cortez?
It's a great embarrassment last week. It's a gut check now, see what kind of heart we got. We're ready to play. Now it's time to go.
He guaranteed a victory, and he also guaranteed that this will not happen again. Dick?
All right, thank you, Jim. Great. Dennis Erickson, a very quiet, angry. He said it was as if somebody kicked him as hard as he's ever been kicked. He just couldn't figure how his team could play so poorly, so confused, in thrashing 41-3 to start this season. Mike Shanahan, cool and calm. Best team in the AFC a year ago by record, 13-3. And he's off to a winning start with a victory at home against Kansas City. Todd Peterson to kick it off. At the other end is Vaughn Hebron of Denver. Denver for the first time in their white uniforms. Hebron at the 3. Finds a seam, 40, 50, and out of bounds at midfield. They'll mark it at the Denver 49-yard line. Hebron bumped out by the kicker Peterson, a 46-yard return.
Boy, I'll tell you what, you look at kickoff returns, you want to see almost a perfect one. Watch the blocking. Watch the hole that he sees. Von Hebron comes up the field. Phil, they just took people on, put them on the ground.
Well, we talked about all that emotion. Way to take it right out of the crowd and the players by allowing such a great return by the Broncos. And the quarterback they love starting at midfield.
Elway with Howard Griffith and Terrell Davis behind him. McCaffrey to the left. Shannon Sharp left, and Davis vacates the backfield, and Elway looking that way. Steps up, scrambles and dives for 2 to the Seattle 49. Dean Wells there to cover. Here are the Broncos. Front 5 in front of Elway. Line up with Jones, Schlereth, Nalen, Habib, and Brown. Elway with Davis and Griffith in the backfield. Rod Smith had a career game, 5 catches, well over 100 yards a week ago. McCaffrey and Shannon Sharp, 3 catches from 400 in his career. Double tight end, 2nd down 8. Davis Thomas, his first carry, breaks one tackle, gains only a yard. He was slowed up by Chad Brown, number 94, and Philip Daniels finished the job. Here are the Hawks defensively. Sinclair, Adams, Kennedy, and Daniels could be one of the better front fours in the league. Didn't show it a week ago. We'll see a lot of Cortez Kennedy, 6 straight Pro Bowls. Moss, Wells, Chad Brown from Pittsburgh. Sean Springs, so much hope for him. He's the All-America from Ohio State. Willie Williams from Pittsburgh. Blades from the Lions, and Darrell Williams, the back four. Elway looks at 3rd down 7. Plenty of noise in the Kingdom, and that may have created a penalty. It looked as if right tackle Jamie Brown pulled off his stance, and Elway is punished by Moss as they could not hear the whistle, if there was one.
Well, John, don't take for granted that they hear that whistle. It's so loud already in here. Protect yourself in those situations.
Prior to the snap, ball start, offense. Number 70. 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Phil Luckett is the referee today.
You know, talking about this Denver offense, what they want to do, the Jets had so much success last week given all these formations. Seattle did not adjust well. They want to give them all the looks, Paul, and see if they made those corrections.
Well, on the other side, Seattle on defense, what they need to do is just get rid of the mistakes. Number 2, get Chad Brown in a position he can make plays. And the big 3, Sally Amua, Kennedy, and Sam Adams. These guys have to perform.
Those 3 defensive tackles. 3rd down and 12. Elway from the shotgun. Brown on the blitz. Elway to McCaffrey, and a first down at the 36-yard line. The tackle by number 22, Fred Thomas.
One thing that I think is really overrated in this league, they always talk about matchups and size with wide receivers and defensive backs. Well, this is one time where it really came in handy. Eddie McCaffrey makes that catch because he's 6'5" and a lot taller than the defensive back.
And also what he did is he got into the face of Fred Thomas, number 22, and just came back to the ball. It was there. Look at the big body. He just blocks him out.
He's 8 inches taller than the 5'9" Thomas. 16-yard play. First down, Elway. Guns it to Shannon. Check that, Rod Smith, and Smith is close to another first down at the Seattle 26-yard line.
Well, what we've already seen is Denver offense giving a lot of different looks, and they'd love to get their wide receivers on the inside part of the field where Rod Smith is, so they have some area to work in where they can go in or out, and Rod Smith finds that little hole for Elway to throw it into.
Well, we've heard the noise already, Phil Simms, and John Elway was talking about this week. Is typically coaches anticipating a loud dome situation. They play music or crowd screaming. And how did you have to do that?
Yeah, and it's usually bad music too, Dick. But yeah, we had to, and I knew John's answer what it was going to be if you did it. He said, "Yeah." And I said, "Don't you hate it?" He goes, "Oh, I hate it," because all it does to the quarterback, it gives you a sore throat from trying to yell over the noise, and it gives you a headache from all that stuff too.
The one thing too, when you talk about this noise in this stadium, and it is extremely loud for players to play, they'll tell you that week in and week out. But if Elway and the Denver Broncos score on this first drive, it'll take this crowd out of the game. If you take the crowd out of the game, you don't have the edge anymore.
Well, let's be honest, this crowd, they want to turn on the team. They are sitting on the edge of their seats. As soon as it goes bad, they're going to jump on them.
The catch by Smith was good enough for the first down. 26-yard line, Elway. The quick pop to McCaffrey. And McCaffrey out of bounds after a gain to the 19-yard line. Darrell Williams bumped him out. Denver for the first time in the red zone, and last week against Kansas City, they penetrated the Chiefs 24 times but managed only 1 touchdown, and that in its own way was controversial as Terrell Davis scored on what appeared to be a hold that was erased by the officials.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing we talked about at the beginning is about Mike Shanahan being mad with the offense about offensive mistakes.
2nd and 3. Griffith in motion, Terrell Davis, and they gang tackle him. Sam Adams led the charge. No gain.
And the reason they weren't successful last week inside the 20, right there you saw it. Running the football, they were so great at running the football last year inside the 20, and that's how they get it in there and they get the defense guessing, is it going to be run or pass? No success last week and a hard time so far this week.
Well, and one of the reasons that Elway is throwing the ball as much as he is in this first drive, Phil, is they've got about 8 or 9 guys up on the line of scrimmage. They are telling you, you must throw the ball if you're going to beat us.
McCaffrey right, Smith to the left, Shannon Sharp the tight end on the right side. 3rd down and 3. Elway McCaffrey. And the Broncos will have to settle for another field goal, although once again they did make it into the red zone.
Well, Paul, you brought up an interesting point, and it really is kind of, I find it fascinating. You talk about the Denver Broncos, you talk to the other team, and every one of them to a fan said, we cannot let them run the football. We're going to make them, they got to beat us by John Elway throwing the football.
Yeah, that's something in the past. So, we know they're not going to run the ball. Elway,
yeah, let's go let Elway beat us.
38-yard attempt by Jason Elam. Made all 4 attempts last week, and he's good on his first effort today. Broncos opening drive ends with a 38-yard field goal. Seattle will get it when we come back.
Ability that goes the distance, built for living. By Cigna, a business of caring. And by Pizza Hut, we've got a pizza waiting for you.
From the 1962 World's Fair, the Space Needle over 2 football fields high over the Emerald City of Seattle, Washington. The Broncos with a 3-0 lead on Jason Elam's 38-yard field goal. Now Elam kicks it off. Steve Broussard at the goal line for Seattle. Broussard up to the 8-yard line. 20. Broussard down at the 24. Tackled by Dwayne Carswell. And, as suspected, a 10-yarder against the Seahawks. Gives us a chance to introduce Warren Moon and company on this second NFL Sunday. Here is the offense. For the blue and green, Walter Jones, the rookie tackle from Florida State, Kendall, Mawai, Graham, and Ballard. Quarterback Warren Moon, his first start in this city in an important game since way back in his college days in the 70s. Chris Warren, one of the better running backs in the league. Max Strong is the blocker. Joey Galloway, they say he is the fastest man in the NFL. Here he is, Galloway, and he ran a 4.15 several times in camp, and some would argue there's no one faster in this league. Number 84, keep your eyes on him. Mike Pritchard is the other wide receiver, and the tight end is Christian Fourier. Gives to Warren, and Warren to the 15-yard line where Keith Tractor Trailer makes the tackle, the former Kansas City Chief. And here are the Broncos defensively, Smith and Trailer, the former Kansas City Chiefs, with Michael Dean Perry and Alfred Williams, a couple of Pro Bowlers. Mobley, Aldridge, and Romanowski are the backers. Crockett and Gordon, the former Charger at the corners, and Steve Atwater and Tyrone Braxton, 2 very talented safeties. Moon to Warren, and right into a crowd, a gain of just a couple, and it'll be 3rd down and about 8. Romanowski was there.
Dick, the game plan for Seattle is obvious. The first 2 plays they try to run, they need to run the football. Don't make any mistakes. Be aggressive. And the other thing is, last week they never threw the ball down the field. Warren Moon told us we've got to get the ball down the field.
Well, you're right, Paul. I think they have to. But on Denver and the Denver side of the ball on defense, they want to be aggressive, blitz this team, because last week Seattle did a terrible job of picking up the blitzes. So Denver's got to check out that scheme and see if it works. And don't give up the big play to that fastest man in the league, Joey Galloway.
Moon out of the shotgun, 3rd and long. Steps up and guns it. Mike Pritchard appears to have a first down out at the 23. Romanowski was trailing the receiver. It's going to be very close. Let's see.
He's going to be short. Pritchard goes down. He's hit, and he's trying to move the ball forward, but the official was right there to mark it, and I don't believe that they got the first down. Pritchard is still down on the ground telling the official where to mark it.
Well, what Seattle does in offense, look at that. They change the receivers. One goes inside. Michael Pritchard comes underneath. Nobody really is covering him. Just loses his balance and falls short of the first down. But a good job by the offense. Get some movement, try to confuse Denver's defense, and get some people open.
And they'll stretch it out, and it is indeed short. Well, early in the game, the Chargers and New Orleans on NBC today, Mike Ditka went for it on 4th and short from deep in his own end, about the same position.
What happened?
Barely made it.
Oh, he made it, though.
And the special teams, Darian Gordon along with Vaughn Hebron, as you can see, had a great week against Kansas City, and Hebron already with that 46-yard return of the opening kickoff. Gordon standing back at his 30. Rick Tootin, Pro Bowl kicker 3 years ago, and averaged over 44.5 yards a punt last season.
Yeah, we got later on in the show. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to show you
what punters are really built like.
Yeah,
I mean, this is what all the punters, even back in my day.
Yeah, well, he has your picture up there with your bare torso in his locker. Tootin hits a beauty. A spiral that Gordon calls for a fair catch at the 28-yard line. 8 minutes, 34 seconds remain in the opening quarter. 3-0 Denver.
This is the NFL on NBC.
Welcome back. There are a lot of great statistics, those to be truly proud of, and for John Elway, this is what really counts. Of all the men who have quarterbacked in the National Football League, no one's won more games as a starter than John Elway. Marino squeaked out a 16-13 Miami over Tennessee win earlier. That's twice, only 16 points for Jimmy Johnson's Dolphins, but both were wins. Hand off to Terrell Davis, and he's able to pick up about 3, maybe 4. Chad Brown makes the tackle. And, well, you could relate to that better than any of us, Phil.
Well, it says everything about John Elway and how the team's been built around him. And, you know, it's like my old coach used to tell me, you know what they want to know on Monday? They don't want to hear about all the pain, this, that, this. Is it, did you win or did you lose? So John on Mondays gets to go, well, we won. He's done it more than anybody else, and I think it's the greatest stat of all.
He says it a lot on Monday, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
Second down, a long 5, and of course Elway has contributed with his legs as well as his arm. Fires this one incomplete. Ed McCaffrey, and interference on Springs. John Springs reaching in, got too much of McCaffrey.
You know, the one thing that Sean Springs told us yesterday, Phil, that was very interesting. Now, here is a rookie, and he talked about McCaffrey, who is really not one of the fastest guys in the league, and even Eddie admits that. But he says one thing about a big guy like this that is a little slower.
Pass interference on the defense, number 24. That's an automatic first down.
He also said, you know, I can backpedal faster than he can run forward. But the thing about it is he's got to get in his face.
Yeah, he does. Don't play him from off. He says, well, too much contact down the field. And what he says when you play guys like Eddie McCaffrey off the ball, he says, while he's running down to those 10 yards, he gives you about 15 moves.
So some of the fans looking at that, as you see the size differential, booing because they thought that was only an illegal chuck, but the ball was already in the air when he made that hit on McCaffrey. So interference is the call. Elway somehow gets away, and one hops it to Shannon Sharp. And Elway was hit hard as he released the ball.
I think it was pass interference and the illegal chuck, and something that goes on a lot in this league, and maybe we'll talk about today sometime, but too much contact with the defensive backs down the field against wide receivers.
You said after looking at the film of Seattle last week when you first saw it that on their defense that they had more illegal chucks and hitting people downfield than any time you've ever seen.
Except them and the Dallas Cowboys lead the league in illegal chucks down the field. Because you know what it is? The coaches have to tell them, go ahead and do it. They only call it like once or twice a game, so do it every play.
Second and 10, draw to Terrell Davis. Calls out his blocking and picks up nearly 8. Winston Moss, who started his career at Tampa Bay and, of course, played with the Raiders and now here in Seattle made the stop.
Well, this is just a draw play, and Elway goes back. But watch what Terrell does. Once he sees the hole, he gets back to the outside. Now he's trying to say to someone, all right, you block him. I'll tell you where to block.
Yeah.
Willie Flipper Anderson, number 83. I'll tell you, you go block him. And Anderson said, yeah, but that's a tackle.
There's Terrell Davis, who started his season with a 101-yard game against Kansas City last week in Denver. Third down, call it 3. Elway, out of time. He'll dive for the first down. A flag is down in the secondary of the Seahawks. Benny Blades covered Elway, who did pick up first down yardage on the scramble.
Well, I look at a holding penalty downfield. The officials are look on the top of your screen. And there it is, Willie Williams. No, it isn't. Sean Springs again. He's bumping again.
Well, what happened?
Illegal contact on the defense, number 24. That's a 5 5-yard penalty from the end of the run and an automatic first down.
Did Sim say they only call it once a game?
Yeah, well,
There's two.
now we're in that blatant. And what happened there at that time, Sean Springs looking at the quarterback, went for that first move by the wide receiver because Elway was looking at him, so he came up to break the play up, and really, it's a good job of having that penalty because otherwise it could have been a touchdown.
So the rookie, talented as he is, at the third player picked, learning on the job. First down. Elway off play action. Flings it toward Shannon Sharp, incomplete.
Boy, I'll tell you what, did you see the blocking by Carswell, number 89? Now, he's blocking a defensive lineman, Michael Sinclair, number 70, and he's the one that gives Elway all the time, not only to get outside, but he just kept Sinclair totally off of Elway.
You know, you watched the blocking, Paul. I was just watching the people go down the field who were open for the touchdowns. Eddie McCaffrey did a double move. He was wide open. And look what the play-action fake did. And what Shannon Sharp turns up the field, nobody is covering him, but John Elway not able to get the ball to him.
2nd and 10. Davis hit the backfield by Chad Brown. Brown, who admitted once that there was a lot of confusion on his part. He said, hey, I played a 3-4 linebacker in high school and college, and then with the Steelers, all of a sudden I'm 4-3, and I made some mistakes last week.
Chad Brown, already today, one thing I can say about the Seahawk defense, a lot more energy from them already. Last week they never showed this type of energy and aggression, and Chad Brown's going to be on the line of scrimmage a lot today, trying to get up close so he can make some plays. That's what he is. He's a playmaker.
Loss of a yard. Elway into the shotgun. Needs 11. Wide open, and Shannon Sharp makes a one-handed catch and a first down. Oh, my.
You know what makes this catch so great, Phil, is that he knew where he was after he caught the ball. He knew he needed another 2 yards for a first down. Watch this one-handed catch by Sharp. Bang. Now watch him. Look at the sideline. Here, he sees where he is. He sees the marker, and he's got to get to the... Oh, man, that is phenomenal.
Acrobatic.
And you know, Paul, I'm not taking nothing away from Shannon Sharp, but last week we were at the Denver practice. Do you remember touching his glove, putting one of them on? You went, well, heck, I could catch him with these gloves on.
They're very sticky.
But anyway, because that in front of him, it would have been a touchdown again.
Terrell Davis breaking tackles inside the 15-yard line. And a gain of nearly 9 before Darrell Williams could come up from safety and make the stop.
Well, the Broncos, their favorite play is the inside trap play by the offensive lineman. Give it to Terrell Davis. He is a great north and south runner, doesn't waste any time, no more than one move, gets right up the field.
Terrell Davis last year averaged nearly 80 yards a game, or 95, then last year raised it to 96. Starts this season with 101 against Kansas City. And they're defensing the Broncos to stop Davis today. Seattle is. Elway. Girl fires. Touchdown. Ed McCaffrey. Now McCaffrey, the veteran, is really taking the rookie Springs to school.
You know, I said that earlier. Size is such an overrated thing with this receiver defensive back combination. Well, you know, again, Paul, I was wrong. Because twice today already, we've just seen the difference in size. And Ed McCaffrey is a tall 6'5", and they list Sean Springs at 6 foot, but we know he's not. He's about 5'10 and a half or 5'11". But Eddie just used his size. Ed McCaffrey pushed him around the end zone and got the touchdown.
Elam for the extra point. And the 14-yard touchdown pass Elway to Ed McCaffrey. The Stanford connection has boosted the Broncos to a 10-0 early lead. His first touchdown of this new season with a clever move. Ed, like so many, looking forward to 2 weeks hence, the Ryder Cup. Will the U.S. bring back the cup from Valderrama, Spain against Seve Ballesteros' European side? 10-0 lead Denver. 4:21 left in this opening quarter. Steve Broussard at the 4. and doesn't make it back to the 20-yard line. Let's go back to the touchdown. First McCaffrey and then Elway.
Well, we're going to watch Eddie McCaffrey score the touchdown, but I think the most important thing, 2nd and 1, Mike Shanahan calls a play-action pass, tries to score. That's what separates Mike Shanahan from most of the coaches in this league who would have tried to pick up the first down.
And if you want to question Elway's arm, please don't. Look at this pass. I mean, there is no chance for Springs. That ball was zipped.
Either you catch that ball or you knocks the wind out of you. Boy, that was right into the solar plexus. 71-yard drive and 9 plays for Elway and the Broncos. And now the pressure falls again on this Seattle offense that fell behind by a big score. And Chris Warren comes out with an answer. A gain of nearly 10 before Neil Smith can drag him down.
Well, John Mobley told us yesterday, number 51 on the Broncos defense, on first down he may be blitzing. He is on the top side. Now watch what happens. He goes back to the outside. They get blocked, and the hole is created inside. Here comes John Mobley here. Now watch this. He just gets run down the line of scrimmage, and when you do that, the hole is open. He's got to get himself square.
Well, he's a fast guy. He's not a big guy. So when those big fat linemen get a hold of you, you're going to move. You're going down the line.
2nd down and less than a yard. Another big gainer. First down to the 38. Tyrone Braxton, the safety man, made the stop.
Well, the Seattle Seahawks, Dennis Erickson, a lot of their coaches and players, the strength of this team on offense is running the football. A big, big offensive line, 2 good solid runners. Chris Warren, he finds the holes because he's a big runner, able to go forward.
But why? Number 52, the center, look at it. He just goes right down the line, grabs a hold of Mobley, moves him out of the hole, and it's another first down.
Kevin Mawe from LSU, the center, another good block. Moon going long. Intended for Pritchard, and Steve Atwater was there to cover.
Well, Warren Moon told us yesterday the one thing, and you brought up, he says, I never saw so many short passes in the game last week. And Moon said the one thing that we have to do is go downfield.
Well, that's a great example of it too, Paul. If you run the football and you get some first downs, it didn't quite happen the way they want, but play action fake, give the quarterback that extra time, and let the receiver get down the field. Alfred Williams on that play still leveled Warren Moon, so they got to do a better job up front. But that's how you should run an offense.
From a first name Warren, and there's John Freeze. His season cut in half. They expect him to be out 8 weeks with that broken right thumb after the injury late in the first half against the Jets a week ago.
Well, John Freeze works all offseason as hard as any quarterback can. He created a good situation for himself in here, Seattle. He beats out the number 1 draft pick, the guy that's got the job, Rick Meyer, is given to him. And everything is going well, and what do you know? First half, the first game of the year, gone for 6 to 8 weeks.
3rd and 10 for Moon. Whistles that one incomplete. Intended for Joey Galloway. One thing about this 40-year-old gray-beard Moon, he can still fire it with anyone.
Well, you're right. He still has a tremendous arm, and that arm's never going to leave. It'll still be good when he's 50 years old. So the question is, how long do you want to take those hits? I mean, that's what it comes down to for quarterback.
Well, like in my case, my arm was still there. The body goes.
That's right.
When the body goes, there's nothing you can do about it.
That's right. And don't try to follow that body. That's for sure.
But your face is still there, Paul.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, okay.
Toward Gordon, and another beautiful kick. Gordon at the 9. Twisted down at the 14 and pushed back. Tim Hawk, the veteran and former Broncos special teamer, made the tackle. celebrating a 53-yard punt. He's had a couple in the 50s to start this game, but it's not just his foot. Look at the arms on this punter.
Whoa, that's pretty impressive.
Well, one of the reasons why I didn't lift that much, look at the veins in this. I didn't want those veins in my wrist.
Yeah.
That, to me, is ugly. What's ugly? Those veins in his wrist.
Elway with a bullet, and nearly a first down for Shannon Sharp.
Well, you know, the kickers, it's a whole new. I mean, you may have started all that. I mean, he did say you're his idol then, too.
Yeah, you know, he took a look at my body and sitting on a beer keg, and he said, you know, you look good, so I think I'll work out. He really wasn't like, when he was in Buffalo, he wasn't like that.
Yeah, he's not like most kickers. I went in there yesterday. There he was in the weight room doing his curls, working out. And, you know, I have to admit, the man is built pretty well for a kicker.
Come on, he's for an athlete.
Davis, look at him make some moves out to the 35.
What did your old coach Bill Parcells say about kickers?
He said about kickers and punters, he says all they're good for, all they do is they're always the first ones to the hair dryers after the game is over. Oh.
Terrell Davis, did you say, you know, the moves that he makes, he says he loves to run inside the tackles. That's his favorite spot. Most runners will say, I like to get outside. Not this guy. He just explodes.
That was him right there, making the moves while going forward, always gaining ground. That's what their running game is about.
Just seconds left in the first quarter, and Davis with 34 yards and looking for more and gets more. Out to the 43-yard line, give him a +8 as the final seconds of this first quarter that has been fairly well dominated by Denver tick away. That's perhaps the last play. Terrell Davis, what a force he has become for the Denver Broncos. And that will do it for the first quarter here at the Kingdome in Seattle. The Denver Broncos 10, the Seahawks nothing. To Seattle, the Broncos leading the Seahawks 10-0. And a reminder, the NFL season extends to the World Wide Web on the NFL.com, the league's official website. Visit NFL.com, all the scores, stats, including a complete roundup of this weekend's scores in action, and you'll chat with some of the NFL's biggest stars, all at NFL.com. Open the second quarter, and the handoff goes to Terrell Davis, and he's smothered as Sean Springs comes up from the corner to help out on the tackle.
Well, the one thing about Seattle last week is when you look at his tackles by position. Now, there were 62 tackles in the game, 32 of them by the 4 starting defensive backs. That's the 2 corners and the 2 safeties. All over half of the tackles.
You know what that tells me? That means the up front people had a terrible game, and today, look at that, 11 already by the secondary. The front 4, the linebackers, and this defense, you got a 4-3. They got to be making the tackles.
Third and a long one, and Davis doesn't get it. Snapped up by Chad Brown. You know, Denver's finally stopped by the Seahawk defense.
Well, they're trying to get Chad Brown in on a lot of plays, and Chad Brown told us he played in the 3-4 defense all of his life, never in the 4-3. And what happens here is look at Chad Brown. He comes down the line of scrimmage like an inside linebacker to make the play.
Did you see what Shannon Sharp did? He just tried to shield him off, but you got to realize this guy has got tremendous speed. He shielded him for a second, but he can still run down there and make the play before he gets to the line of scrimmage.
Ronnie Harris back at the 10 as Tom Ruin punts for the first time today. And he hits a beautiful high spiral. Fair catch at the 12-yard line. Just underway in the second quarter here in Seattle, and the Broncos lead by 10. Look at Neil Smith of the Broncos. Jason Elam, 38-yard field goal and a 14-yard touchdown pass Elway. Ed McCaffrey giving the Broncos the early lead 10-0. Warren Moon takes over at his own 12-yard line. Galloway in motion. Moon underneath to his tight end for Poirier, and he is to a first down, or close to it at the 22. Warren Moon, his last stint as a quarterback here in Seattle. He was the University of Washington Washington quarterback in 1978, and he led the Huskies into the Rose Bowl, where they won 27-20 over the University of Michigan. In the game, Moon ran for 2 scores. He passed for nearly 200 yards against the Wolverines, and another score, and was named the Rose Bowl MVP, and named to the Rose Bowl Hall of Fame this year, in fact. Nothing there at all for Chris Warren. Alan Aldridge, the middle linebacker, making the tackle. You know, he played 5 years after Washington at Edmonton in the CFL. If you take his numbers in the Canadian League and add them to his NFL numbers after 13 years, look, 398 touchdowns over 65,000 yards. I mean, he would be way off number 1. And we asked him, does that ever enter his mind that had he not gone to the CFL or opened in the NFL, he'd have all the numbers? And he had an interesting answer. We'll give it to you after this play. Down the middle, caught by Galloway, and he's corralled, flagged down, tackled at the 45 by Ray Crockett.
Well, this is going to be a penalty on the receivers downfield, and they're going to bring part of this back.
33-yard play if...
So they tackled Romanowski, number 53, downfield, and it might be Max Strong, number 38, who is the fullback that was downfield, trying to block. They're just down there trying to help. Also, Deems May was in that.
Illegal block in the back, above the waist on the offense, number 38. That's a 10-yard penalty. However, the result is a first down.
Penalty comes back to the 40. It was marked at the 50.
Well, here's Joey Galloway in the slot. He's going to run across here. But what's the tight end for the Seattle Seahawks go up the field? I think Warren Moon was throwing it up the field to the tight end.
Warren gains 4 on first down into the arms of Tyrone Braxton. Well, Warren Moon said that he's never been concerned about the 5 years in the CFL. He said he really thought he'd play his entire life there. He enjoyed it in Edmonton, and it only made him a better quarterback when he came to the NFL. He said, I just wanted to prove to myself I could play in this league as well. Well, he's done that.
Well, he's done that. He's done a lot of wonderful things, Dick. And, you know, he was up in Canada. The good thing is he got a lot of snaps, a lot of experience. Even though the rules are a little bit different, you still get that pressure and seeing defenses, and it was a great teacher for him.
Chris Warren, only a yard. Alan Aldridge and Mike Lodish collaborate on the stop. It'll be 3rd and 5.
You know, one thing watching Seattle now, the 2 good runs that Chris Warren had, a 9-yard run and I think 11-yard run, that was between the guards, Phil. It was straight up the field. You try to run anywhere outside the tackles on the Denver Broncos, you got some problems because of their speed.
Well, their speed in Denver, Paul, always puts up there more people than you can block. So when you go outside, it just gives them more freedom to run, and that's why they always run it down outside.
In motion, and Moon has to duck away from the rush, and it's the first sack of the game. They may give it to Neil Smith, but he had a lot of help. Michael Dean Perry and Alfred Williams were in there as well.
Tanavasa, number 98, is, I think, maybe there. And here comes Neil Smith that makes a tackle. Tanavasa was the guy that made him a duck underneath, and Neil Smith gets the sack.
So Tootin has to punt again. 2 solid kicks early, but the bad news is that he's back in punt formation once again for Seattle. Another drive stymied. Darian Gordon, wow, what a spiral. And that one is going to go through the end zone. And with it a timeout with 10 minutes remaining in this first half. Denver leads by 10.
Moon might have ducked a little bit too soon. Mawai, number 52, the center, on Tanavasa, number 98, he gets the block. You see Warren Moon's ducking before the guy's even there, and then he can't get back upfield.
But when you're a passer in that pocket, you see your offensive lineman somewhere in the vicinity, you just got to trust them. They're going to get their hands on them and push them by you.
Trust them, huh?
10:07 left in the first half. Elway from his own 30. Underneath to McCaffrey for a gain of 4, maybe 5. Brown makes the tackle. Well, part of the hazards of playing the position of quarterback against men 300 pounds that can run 4.7 is you get your beating that comes with a high-priced territory, and here are the all-time men. Dave Craig has been sacked more than any, and actually Phil Simms is proud of being number 3. Paul.
I mean, he loves it. He talks about all about the guys knocking him out.
He misses it on weekend. You just hit me once. Come on, make me feel at home.
Well, it's the only way I can get in the record book, so I took advantage of it.
Elway forced to throw one away, and he's arguing for a call.
There is a flag down, and saying that he threw intentional grounding.
And fans like that, as Elway is ticketed for throwing that one away when he was still in the pocket.
But as long as you throw the ball, there was a receiver out there. Terrell Davis.
Intentional grounding on the offense, number 7. 10-yard penalty, loss of down, 3rd down.
Well, John Elway is inside the tackles, and he throws it out here where there is no receiver in the vicinity, and that's what the referee calls. It's a good call. Elway really had time where he could have thrown it somewhere closer. But Chad Brown on 94 on the outside coming. Beats the guard, pulling out the blocking.
That's the toughest of penalties. The 10 yards plus loss of down brings up 3rd and 16. And Elway is forced to call timeout. Well, that has awakened the crowd at the Kingdom. We'll be right back. In Titletown, Green Bay, next Sunday to see the Dolphins and Packers here. The crowd trying to help the Seattle defense. 3rd down, 16, Denver at the 14-yard line. Elway going long for McCaffrey. Flag again, and it's thrown at Sean Springs.
You know, Phil, you are so right about McCaffrey. It shows Sean Springs about McCaffrey. He gives just 27 moves, and then he's doing something else. Look at this guy. And he said, we told him yesterday, that Sean said he could backpedal faster. You could
Pass
run forward.
Defense.
He said,
Number 24.
and
That's an
McCaffrey
automatic first down.
he said to us, I've heard all the slow jokes. Well, when you look at the replay, I mean, there is a legal bump.
And Mike Shanahan sees a penalty first down out to the 43-yard line. Elway given a lot of time to throw. It's a 3rd call against Springs. Now Davis. Terrell Davis to midfield. Gain of 7 more before Dean Wells, the middle backer from Kentucky, can make the stop.
Well, I think the coaches are going to have to reevaluate this rule now, because none of these were called last week. We did the game Kansas City-Denver. Every film I watched of a couple different games this week leading up to this, they never throw the penalty flags down, these incidental bumps or whatever down the field. So maybe they've talked about the officials. It got a little too far out of hand. And Dick, like you said, 3 of them already today on Sean Springs.
McCaffrey left. Davis, the lone running back. Griffith sent out to the right side with Shannon Sharp. Looking for Davis. Throws the sidelines to Griffith. Out of bounds. No catch. Covered by Springs. There's a pass play, Phil, that you talk about so many times where you throw the ball behind the receiver and behind the defensive back.
Watch Sean Springs, number 24, Howard Griffin. He never turns his head. The only thing, just a little too far behind Paul. A running back can't quite make the adjustment a wide receiver would, but if the defender doesn't turn around, throw it to the back of his head, let the receiver make the adjustment.
Boy, Springs was really careful there. I didn't want to lay a hand on Max. It was Griffith who had a little push.
Get a little gun shy out there.
3rd and a long 3. And Michael Sinclair charges into the Denver backfield.
Yeah, but they're going to get Habib, I think, 75, the right guard, moved.
Prior to the snap, ball start, offense. Number 75. 5 yards, still 3rd down.
I'll take.
Well, let's look at Sean Springs and how tough this first half has been on the rookie from Ohio State. That was the penalty against McCaffrey. Then McCaffrey took him to school on the touchdown. And 16. Interference. Elway scrambles. Whoa! That could have been called a fumble. They say an incomplete pass. It looked as if Elway was throwing that ball backwards.
It went sideways. He was trying to get rid of the football, avoid the sack. Good pressure up the field again by the Seattle defensive lineman.
I'll tell you what's real nice is the official made a nice catch here. Not a catch, but grabs the ball.
He's beyond the line of scrimmage. He's at the 45-yard line. The line of scrimmage was the 44. He threw the ball from the 45. In essence, that's a fumble and a live ball. It ruled a backward pass, or at least it's a penalty from beyond the line of scrimmage. There it's called. Let's go back, and this had all kinds of problems or question marks written about it.
44-yard line is where the line of scrimmage is. Elway sees the hole, so he moves up in it, and he's definitely, you're right, Dick, definitely past the line of scrimmage. Should be an illegal forward pass.
Yeah, the ball did go forward. It was not a lateral, but very close to being a free ball.
But you're right, Paul. That was a good scoop by the...
That was Ron Botch, an old teammate of mine with the Chargers years ago, the umpire. He made a great catch. Not a catch, but scooped the ball up.
Down 10-0. Seattle needs something good to happen offensively. Midpoint of the second quarter. Goes to his tight end. Lester Crumpler.
How do you like this? What is this a great name in sport? Lester Crumpler.
Well, his dad was Carl Lester, too, you know, and he played Buffalo one year.
Yep.
74.
That was the year I was on vacation, I think.
Carl Lester is from East Carolina. They got two tight end names, Deems May and Carl Lester Crumpler. Carl Lester and Deems got to find a lot of teams to get two of those names on. This is Lamar Smith, and a flag down to Smith. Rumbles out to the 42 before Darian Gordon can make the tackle.
And Ray Crockett is down on the ground. He's hurt. And they cannot afford to lose another corner. Oh boy, on that last play, they just caved Alfred Williams down inside and just ran right off his rear end.
Holding, offense, number 84. 10-yard penalty, still second down.
Joey Galloway with a penalty.
He's too small to be holding.
That'll take the ball back to the 28-yard line, where it'll be second down and about 3. Crockett to his feet. He was shaken last week as well in the Kansas City game.
Look at your screen, you go see Joey Galloway, number 84, goes in, and what they're calling, he puts his arms around the leg of Ray Crockett and helps him pull him down.
Boy, I mean, that was so close to a crack back because he hit him almost below the knees. He hit him above, but
he did,
down.
But he fell down, that's right. The initial hit was above the waist.
Pretty generous on the spot in terms of where the penalty occurred. Seattle still got a 7-yard gain out of the play. Brown is hit before he can hand off to Galloway, and then Galloway deep in his own backfield. And finally down at the 16-yard line. 17, Tyrone Braxton in to make the tackle.
You know, so you're talking about how fast Galloway is. You know what, I'll tell you what, I don't care how fast you are. When you run out of football field, you can't go anywhere.
There's the problem inside. Keith Traylor with great penetration. And the one thing, what this says about the Denver Broncos is just good discipline. Nobody getting out of their lanes in the backside. Nobody over pursuing. So the reverse comes back around to them. There they are.
Sitting out there was Tyrone Braxton, 34. He just waits out there. No place for you to go but back inside to where all of his teammates are.
A loss of 11 on the play. Third down and 14. Moon. Beautiful throw. Moon threaded that through several Bronco arms, and it's a first down near the 40.
Excellent read by Warren Moon. Good patience patience. That's the key this time. Watch how Joey Galloway at the bottom of your screen comes up, but watch this receiver kind of clear out and make the hole for Warren Moon to throw the football into. Joey Galloway on the outside. Second man across. Good patience by Warren Moon waiting for the gainer, the big gain.
22-yard play. 5 minutes, 5 seconds left in the half. Denver leads 10-0. Swing it out to Lamar Smith. And Smith out of bounds at the 45. Steve Atwater made the tackle. A reminder this fall on NBC, Jenny McCarthy's moving into the Sunday neighborhood right after Men Behaving Badly with her new comedy, Jenny. What a matchup. Men and Jen, Sundays this fall on NBC.
She's moving into whose neighborhood?
Men's. Jen and Men. Men behaving badly. You ought to get a bit part. I would think they'd want you in
over
there.
here mumbling. You better wake up. He's over here mumbling.
He thought I was talking personally about it.
Second and 5. Smith breaks the initial hit, gets it close to a first down. Mobley drags him down just shy of the 49, where it'll be 3rd and 1.
John Mobley was telling us they put in a lot of extra blitzes, and especially for him, and on first down. Now, this was the second down play. Here's Mobley. Very quick. It just gets upfield.
Well, that time he went around the block. And Mobley, this year, he's not running around lost like he was last year. He's got over those rookie blues, and he knows what he's doing. He's making more plays in the first 2 games this year.
Lamar Smith did it because there was no blocking. He's the guy that gets outside, sees there's no place to go, and he cuts it back inside. He's going to come back into your face here. Just watch what he does. He sees nothing to the inside. I go back outside, and now I've got to go forward to make the first down.
Yeah, Bill Romanowski has a chance to stop him for no gain and send this into 4th down, but you know what? Sometimes coaches always say, and I say it, Paul, sometimes players just got to make plays. It can't always be there for you. You got to make somebody miss, make it happen.
First down with 3:12 left in the half. Swing it out to Smith, wide open. Patient run and another first down. Or close to it at the 37.
Watch John Mobley, number 51. Dropping back at zone coverage. There's the swing. He's going to try to go up, blow this thing up.
Well, that's his man. Now, if Smith comes out of the backfield, that's his man. But he was so concerned about Galloway going downfield to take a piece of him, he forgot about the back coming out of the backfield.
Another first down for Moon and the Seahawks. Smith again. 30. 20. He's all the way to the 11-yard line.
What great positive reinforcement for the Seahawks. Really, nothing's gone right. They've stuck to their game plan, sticking with the run. Lamar Smith, big hole, does a good job. Make a couple guys miss, get this ball down in the scoring territory.
And that takes us to a 2-minute warning. A 25-yard run by Smith, the backup to Chris Warren, 218-pounder in his 4th year out of University of Houston. He has been the drive. 40 yards on 4 rushes plus 2 catches for 17 more. And Warren Moon and the Seahawks, with their best field position, have driven to the 12 of Denver, trying to cut into the Broncos' 10-0 lead. 2 minutes to go in the half. Smith in motion. Moon incomplete to Carlester Crumpler.
You know, Carlester Crumpler is very big, but he's not that big. You're going to throw into Mobley and Aldridge, 57 and 51. You have 2 linebackers, 1 on each side. That's forcing the passing. Here goes Mobley coming out. Aldridge is going to, number 57 is going to give him some help. But watch these 2 guys just clamp on Carlester Crumpler. Aldridge is the first guy that makes the play, and then inside is Mobley.
Dennis Erickson, in his 3rd year here at Seattle, didn't like the call. He felt that his team's been flagged for early contact, and Smith is contacted early, in fact, on the run as he goes down after a gain maybe of a half yard. Alan Aldridge
reminder to stay tuned. Coming up at halftime, we'll take you to our New York studios for the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC halftime report. And there was an interesting wire service report, a modern-day history note. Something that's the first time
you've ever seen it. Yeah, first time I've ever seen it.
Sartorial history.
You wear checkered sport coats with striped ties or something like that.
Yeah, that's the first time since Soupy Sales, Chris Collins.
Soupy Sales.
Move to the end zone. Touchdown. Carlester Crumpler. What a catch by Crumpler. Crumpler, who played at East Carolina, with first catch of the year is his first touchdown. Todd Peterson's extra point try, and Denver's lead reduced to 10-7. 12 yards, perfect throw, and a fine catch by Crumpler. The running of Lamar Smith, the capper, a 12-yard throw. Moon to Carlester Crumpler, completing a 79-yard drive.
Watch Warren Moon, looks to the right. He knows where all of his receivers are. Good veteran quarterback. When he gets in trouble, he knows look left deep. Carlester in the end zone for the touchdown.
It had to be perfectly thrown over two Bronco defenders. Pepperin at the goal line. Boy, found a gap again and out to the 34-yard line. The kick returns of Denver continued to be outstanding. That one good for 33 yards.
Well, Moon, I think, makes this play by pulling the ball down one time on a pump and enables Carlester Crumpler to get behind Gordon, the defensive back, and Aldridge, the linebacker, and just a perfect throw.
Let me tell you what, that's a zone coverage there. Denver, when they watch this film, they're going to go, how could that happen when you got zone? You let somebody get behind you in the end zone like that.
Dennis Erickson trying to keep the fire in this Seahawk team. They were really deflated after last week's crushing loss to the Jets here at the Kingdom. Elway chased by Sinclair. Fumble picked up by Chad Brown. Touchdown, Seattle. That one was scored quicker than a Ken Griffey home run. That was out of here in a hurry. And in seconds, Seattle has claimed the lead.
I do not think Denver would even try to run a play to get yards, except after the return, got them up past the 30. They decide, what the heck, let's try. Look what happens.
Todd Peterson adds the extra point, and newly acquired Chad Brown, thanks to the forced fumble by Michael Sinclair, has the score.
It's on the backside of Elway, and he doesn't see it. John's running to the outside. Sinclair knocks the ball out. Look at the ball. Bounces right up in Chad Brown's hand. Touchdown.
Keeps working, chases the quarterback. Good things happen in this league when you hustle. Ball bounces up to him.
Well, Chad Brown acquired a $24 million free agent. Dennis Erickson wants a big play defender, and there's the first dividend.
The coach is fired up. Yesterday when we talked to him, he wasn't too fired up about talking to us, that's for sure. I appreciate him coming in, but
he wasn't real excited, was he? The onside kick to one of the up men. And the tight end, Byron Chamberlain, out to the 37-yard line. Well, Michael Sinclair, who forced the fumble, he's had big days against Elway. In fact, last year, watch number 70. He tied a Seattle team record. He sacked Elway 4 times in the game here. It was the most sacks by an opponent in Broncos history. That one looked a little familiar, didn't it? Elway not fumbling, but coming close to it. So, in a matter
McCaffrey, and he's to the 46-yard line. 45-44 in time called by Denver with 43 seconds and a first down. Well, that's interesting, too. You talked about Shanahan's play calling, Phil Simms, after a disaster fumble touchdown. When perhaps you're going to run out the clock, you don't run it out here, you come out trying to get more.
Well, he wants to turn this momentum back around, so they get it in pretty good field position. So Mike Shanahan, he's not gun-shy. So let's go. He'd love to get a field goal right here to settle it back down, to give his team confidence, and, take a little bit away from Seattle, too.
Well, Von Hebron has been carrying the ball back and giving great returns we were talking about, Dick. So what the Seattle Seahawks did after they scored a touchdown, they split the ball along the ground. The problem was it was kicked to one of the up guys, which happened to be a tight end. He picked up the ball and got the ball out to about the 35-yard line. And when you do that, you already give him field position to get going again.
That squib kick, that along with that prevent defense everybody talks about, they both need to be blown up. Because they're just, I hate them both.
Blown up is blown up and thrown out.
Yeah.
They mark it first down at the 46-yard line. Look at Elway. He is really pumped now. He wants to make amends for the fumble touchdown.
Well, here's your prevent, Phil.
Elway to McCaffrey, thrown behind him as Benny Blades came over to help out Sean Springs from his safety spot.
Well, Paul, Denver guessed wrong. It was what you would call prevent a soft zone, but they were expecting aggressive man coverage by the Seahawks defense, so they ran a route accordingly. It wasn't open.
Denver has 2 timeouts remaining, 29 seconds shown. Knocked down at the 48-yard line by Sam Adams. These Seattle front 4 linemen are big, but they're fast as well. Adams almost 300 pounds. Elway couldn't get rid of him. When Moon led his team, sparked by Lamar Smith, to a touchdown. And you see Elway with that last 2-yard scramble has moved past Tobin Rote, former Packer, former Lion quarterback, number 4 all-time as the rushing quarterback. Randall Cunningham, by far the most successful runner at that quarterback spot. Not necessarily a great statistic for a team. Elway to the sidelines. McCaffrey given plenty of room by Sean Springs. Ducks out of bounds. 11 seconds left and no timeout used by Denver. So they got their 2 timeouts. They have one more play trying to get into field goal range.
Well, Denver made the adjustment, Paul. I told you, I just knew they'd come out with a different play. Seattle playing it safe, staying off, knowing they got to make 2 good solid plays to get in field goal range.
But you can't give a guy like Jason Elam, the kicker of Denver. We know he can kick the ball 60 yards.
Excuse me, one timeout left for Denver. Elway to the far sidelines, complete to Willie Green, and the former Mississippi star acquired as an unrestricted free agent from Carolina. This moves it closer.
Yeah, this is like give up for Seattle because playing indoors, we saw it last week, a 55-yard field goal kicked against Seattle. This is like the equivalent of about a 35 or a 40-yard field goal by the Denver Broncos playing in this dome.
This is a 51-yard try, but with no wind, that for Elam would be like a 40-45. Ruined to hold. It's long enough. It is good. So Elway does steal some of the momentum and thunder from the Seahawks as he gets 3 back, and the Broncos are within 1. And Dennis Erickson not at all happy about the defense employed by the Seahawks.
Yeah, he was talking to Greg McMacken, the defensive coordinator. He didn't like the strategy he used at the end. And for Elam, this is just a little punch shot, Paul.
Erickson's trying to call timeout. They wanted to get somebody else on the field. They couldn't get it done.
Or to freeze the kicker.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that you mentioned the prevent defense. I just hate the defense because it allows the team to score. You don't prevent them from doing anything.
Seattle was making it happen with the crowd and their aggression. And once they did that, once you let them throw those little safe passes to the outside, it takes the aggression out of the defensive linemen. It takes it out of the defensive backs, and the crowd sitting back here, hey, they know they're going, what the heck are we doing?
Well, and the other thing, too, is, Phil, you got a field goal kicker that has not missed a kick this year. I mean, it's only 2 games, but he's 6 for 6 now. And you don't give him a chip shot.
He saw Elam's numbers. What a start to a season. In 6 quarters, he has 6 field goals in 6 attempts. Had a 53-yarder last week and 51 now today. This certainly shouldn't challenge a deep return. We'll see how he squips it. Yep. And downed by Max Strong, and that'll be the end of the first half. Mike Shanahan's team jumped out to a 10-0 lead, but Seattle struck quickly. Touchdown on a pass, touchdown on a fumble return by Chad Brown. They got Dennis Erickson and the Seahawks thinking they can win today. As we go now to New York and Greg Gumbel.
This is the Domino's Pizza.
First half statistics. Coors Light. The one yellow mark there, that turnover. Chad Brown scooping up the fumble of Elway and scoring and providing the lead. But basically, it was really the first quarter all Denver. The second quarter belonged to the Seahawks.
The one thing that Denver cannot allow the Seahawks right now to get momentum, score on this drive here, because they're going to get the people in. And the one thing you talked about, when you have the momentum and the desire on your side, you can win.
You can. And the one thing I drew from that first half, if Denver has a weakness, if you can control the football against their defense, it's small and fast, and you can overpower them. And I think that's what happened on that touchdown drive by the Seattle Seahawks. They started overpowering this Denver defense.
Broussard deep. Elam, who kicked the 51-yard field goal to pull the Broncos within 1 at the end of the half, sends a squirrely kick down to the 10. That's Reggie Brown. And Brown out to the 25 to 26-yard line. Let's go to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you, Dick. I spoke to Dennis Erickson. He said that he was very happy that his team kept his poise. They kept their control. Very pleased with the last 2 minutes of the game. He said, we have to figure out a way to move the ball more. Very happy with the pressure on John Elway, and they want to keep him in the pocket. Now, as for Mike Shanahan, he said there wasn't a whole lot to say. We simply self-destructed. He says, we got to figure out a way to protect John Elway, and Shannon Sharp told me coming out they're going to try and pound the ball in the second half, and they must be better on short yardage downs. Dick?
Thanks, Jim. And that drive for the touchdown, it appeared that Denver suddenly ran out of some gas, didn't you think?
Well, no question. The players were getting down on knees, trying to catch their breath during the timeouts. And like you said, the one thing last year, if you have a chance, you can stay close to Denver. If you run the football, you can have some success. That was their downfall last year in close games.
Lamar Smith, who had such a big second quarter, loses a yard on his first carry here in the third. You look at the quarterback comparisons. First quarter, Elway, 6 for 9, a touchdown pass to McCaffrey, 68 yards. Moon only 1 for 3 and 6 yards. But in the second quarter, it was Moon 7 of 8, nearly 100 yards, and Elway only 33 yards, plus a fumble that led to a touchdown. Veteran quarterbacks, great players. Elway against Moon here at the Kingrel. Moon, the screen to Lamar Smith, gains only a couple out to the 27-yard line. Michael Dean Harry stayed at home. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
Well, you know, the thing at Seattle, you say you've got to do something. Well, of course, Denver did adjust. If you take a look at Denver's defense now, what they look like they just did, and that screen, you don't run a middle screen against a team that's playing run right off the bat. They're playing run, so they're all sitting in there.
Denver tries to play run basically almost every play except third and obvious passing situations. Well, it was a wonderful Sensational throw by Warren Moon. Mike Pritchard does a good job just going down the field. And it's a good soft throw by the quarterback right into the chest. Hard to defend that if you're Tim McGuire.
Mike Pritchard, who was drafted as a #1 pick by Atlanta in '91, eventually made his way to Denver for a year, had a good season, and then injuries put him on the sidelines, and now has migrated here to the Northwest. Moon going long down the sidelines, incomplete, intended for Pritchard again.
What I'm seeing here is with Moon, that's what Warren Moon told us yesterday, because the first thing that Phil said to Warren Moon yesterday was, I never saw so many short passes in a game in my life, in the game last week. He said, we have to go down the field. We have to get these guys spread out.
Well, Warren Moon said to the coaches, I like to throw the ball down the field a little more. So he comes in and gets the game plan, and everything's down the field. He goes, I think they got a little carried away. I like some short passes.
But even the incomplete pass on the long throw is not necessarily a bad thing.
It always serves a purpose to remind the defensive backs that we could go deep, so play is fair in the right way.
2nd and 10, toss to Smith. Boy, they had the corner shut off that time as Neil Smith and Tyrone Braxton come in to make the tackle.
I said before, don't try to run wide on these guys because they have too much speed. Look at Neil Smith. He's just coming down the line of scrimmage, and everything's held up because of the outside linebacker, Romanowski and company, turning everything back in, and enables the defensive end from the other side of the field to make the play.
Yeah, Romanowski had penetrated and said, you're not getting around me, and that allowed Smith then to help out on the tackle. 3rd and 14 after the loss. Here they come. Atwater picked up, however, and Moon to Galloway. No. At the 43 of Denver as Ray Crockett made a good defensive move.
So it just looked like Galloway took it too deep down the field. Didn't read blitz, and he went too far down the field. He never could get back to the ball.
Well, it's a good job. Watch the blitz inside. Here comes the safety, the linebacker. They're going to cross in there, but really an excellent job by Seattle picking it up. And if you look to the outside, you see where the ball is thrown. It's just a good job of the defensive back. He just sees that receiver starting to break down. They know, they've seen it so many times. Good reaction to the play.
Tootin to punt. Gordon looks at another high spiral. And that one is going to be down at the 5-yard line by Tyree Davis of Central Arkansas. Another great kick by Tootin back to Seattle, and the hazards of being a cover man, Ronnie Harris, and the hazards as well of being too close to the sideline.
Guy thought he had a good seat for a minute.
Terrell Davis to the 9-yard line. Well, Sean Springs, not too far from the tree, fell this apple, and Daddy is with Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Dick. I am here with Ron Springs, and Ron, Sean told us yesterday that you intentionally didn't speak to him about football, but he used to hang around at the Cowboys an awful lot with you. Why didn't you talk to him about the game?
Well, I thought he got enough of football, just being around us. And he went to all the football camps, Jim Kelly's camps, my camps, Jack Lammer's camps, so he had enough football. I didn't have to talk to him about it.
As we see Elway complete a pass for about 15 yards to Shannon Sharp. Ron, your son Sean got beaten a couple of times in the first half, a couple of defensive interference, and as well he was beaten on a touchdown by McCaffrey. Is it difficult for you to watch him?
No, it's not difficult because I know Sean is going to get beat several times, and he's a rookie as well as a guy that's been around football. But playing against Elway told him this summer he was going after him, and he's testing him right now. But he'll come back. He's going to be all right.
Ron, it's great to see you. Let's go back upstairs to Dick.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. That was Shannon Sharp's 400th career catch. First down for Elway. And he's got 401. Sharp all the way to the 49. Benny Blades bumps him out of bounds at the Seattle 49-yard line. Just a footnote on Ron Springs, and you've got to be proud in a lot of ways about his son Sean. He's a terrific athlete, but he was also an outstanding student at Ohio State. And Sean said, Dad wouldn't talk much football, but boy, he'd really talk about my studying.
Yeah, get those grades. He was on him, and Sean Springs did not get his degree from Ohio State, but he is going back to finish it up.
Elway from deep in his own end. This drive started at the 6-yard line, trailing by 1. Terrell Davis. Ooh, good hit by Cortez Kennedy. consecutive Pro Bowl tackle of the Seahawks with a solid hit.
When Cortez anchors that lump, and when he'll put a lump on you. Watch Cortez Kennedy, 96. Now watch him get square. When he goes down the line of scrimmage, now he sees Terrell. Now watch this. Boom, he gets square. And Terrell Davis, you don't see that many times, stop dead in his tracks.
Cortez Kennedy, in his 8th year, has had 46.5 sacks and 10 forced fumbles and 6 Pro Bowls. 306-pounder played at Miami for Dennis Erickson. He didn't complete Terrell Davis, and Winston Moss wasn't going to give him much anyway.
Well, Terrell Davis right there, he was going to run before he got the ball. He could feel the guy there, and he's looking downfield instead of looking at the ball. No matter whether it's a short pass, long pass, I don't care. You have to look at the football. Well, Terrell Davis takes his eye off it.
I can feel it too, though.
Oh, yeah, he knows he's going to get hit.
He knew it was coming.
So 3rd down and 8 for the Broncos at the Seahawks 47.
Did I hear Jim Gray do play-by-play just a minute?
Yeah,
That's a pretty good job. Shovel pass does not work to Rod Smith. A loss of a yard. Dan Saliamua, the former Chief, he's been in the league 11 years. He smelled that one out.
When you talk about this Seahawk defense, it centers around the big guys inside. Cortez Kennedy, Sam Adams, and Saliamua, number 97, fighting down the line. Sees that they're throwing like an inside screen or the shovel pass and makes the play. But so far, the 3 big guys inside have done a good job today.
Saliamua said, I must have been brainwashed or something. He said, I had a real shock when there wasn't a red jersey in my locker last week after those years in Kansas City. Wobbly boot by Ruin. Takes a lateral bounce to the 18-yard line, and that's where Warren Moon and the Seahawks will start with 8:48 left in the 3rd. The Hawks by 1. Victims.
How much money they didn't get.
From the 18, Warren Moon with a 14-13 lead. Drills it to Pritchard, and first down at the 30. Ray Crockett and Darian Gordon make the tackles.
You know, Moon may be 40 years old, but I'll tell you one thing, Phil. When he makes a decision to get that ball downfield, he gets it there.
You know what? If he came out in the draft right now, if you didn't know how old he was, as you can see this completion, if you didn't know and you watched him in a workout, you say, wow, he's got a great arm for a young quarterback.
Smith, and Smith out to the 34-yard line, a gain of 4. John Mobley in on the hit with Braxton. That's Rich Olson sending in the play to Moon. Moon, for the first time in his career, is wearing an armband. He's got 25 band plays. He said, I feel kind of...
It's cheating. Yeah. That's what it is, and it's what he felt like. This is a cheat sheet for a quarterback. You got to... Most quarterbacks won't wear them, but why do they wear them here?
36. Incomplete to Joey Galloway, and he wanted to hold. Crockett covered him pretty tightly.
Well, this is the second time I watched Joey Galloway do this, Phil. He's taken, and he's not reading any blitz, and he's taking this thing too far down the field. He's got to break this off a little bit shorter.
You can see this play sheet right here. Warren Moon has one on his wrist, too. Why they use that, the system broke down last year where they talked to the quarterback to the microphone or in his head. It broke down. They couldn't get the plays in, so this is why they have it now to signal in case something goes wrong with the system.
3rd and 6. He drills it for a first down. It's to Brian Blades, the first catch today for the veteran Blades. It was the second all-time receiver in Hawks history. He's got 540 career catches.
Well, it's zone coverage by the Denver Broncos. Warren Moon knows it. He looks out to the right. Blades does a good job of hooking up between the 2 defenders, and the good strong arm helps get the first down.
Just such easy arm action by Warren Moon. As you look at Brian Blades, who is a year older than his brother Benny, who's now a defensive safety here in Seattle. Tackle. Lamar Smith has the first down at the Denver 48. Alan Aldridge ran him out.
This play had disaster written all over it. Alfred Williams is in the the backfield, right there to take the handoff. Watch 91. He's there. He almost gets the handoff, but he misses the tackle. He goes between the two. He goes between Moon and the running back, Lamar Smith, and he misses both of them.
Good job beating Walter Jones off the line of scrimmage, but you're Alfred Williams. Who do you go hit? The quarterback or the running back? So, yeah, he goes for the quarterback.
That's right. And then didn't hit either one of them.
First down, Seahawks leading 14-13. 6.5 minutes remain, third quarter. Moon out of the backfield, incomplete. Through the hands of Max Strong, looking for his first offensive play. He's in there as a blocker, has not carried the ball in the first two games.
Paul, we talk about this Denver Bronco defense, and this is almost every single play. Look at 9 people that are up there that have a chance to stop the running game, and that's one of the reasons why they have success, and they do a good job when it's play action or a drop-back pass of reacting and getting back in there and causing trouble for the pass, too.
That time they had great coverage deep on the two guys that went deep, and they had to throw the ball short.
Smith again. And he's dragged down after a gain of a couple yards. Keith Traylor making the stop, 94. Reminder, follow the 97 NFL season online at NBCSports.com. This week we break down the top pass, rushing combos in the league, plus our own Randy Cross writes about the Steve Young situation and more. And vote in our weekly poll. Some starting quarterbacks on the shelf. We ask who is the best backup QB in the league. It's all at NBCSports.com. 3rd and 7. Defender Darian Gordon able to knock it away.
Phil, this is a beautiful pass. I'm going to tell you something. That break was made by Blades, and that ball was there as soon as he made the break. Moon couldn't throw it any better. You see Blades come right there. The break is there, and Gordon makes a super play by getting his arm in and knocking the ball out.
Well, the defense they were in, all Gordon was supposed to protect was outside route, so he almost got caught inside. Good recovery by him.
Gordon, 3 touchdowns while returning for the San Diego Chargers. Tootin really sends this one straight up. Bearcat Gordon. And it takes a Denver bounce out to the 22-yard line where Max Strong downs it. We'll take this break at 5:25 third.
Remembered in Denver because he is the man who engineered the trade that brought John Elway over from Baltimore. You did that back in 1983, Edgar, when you owned the team. What did you expect when you were getting John and you gave up Chris Hinton and Mark Herman?
Well, we thought he'd be great. We really did. We weren't sure we could pull the trade off, but we were really happy to get him. We thought he'd be a franchise player, and turns out he was a lot more than that.
So Pat Bullen must call almost every week and just thank you for that move because he's lived off it for a number of years now, hasn't he?
Well, I don't know about that. Pat's done a lot of things right, and the whole organization has. But we were friends before Pat sold the team to Pat, and it's been a good relationship.
Do you miss the team? Do you still get the butterflies watching your former team? You live in Vancouver. That's why you're here today. You came down to see the game. Do you get nervous still?
Oh, yeah. You still get nervous. You're still a fan of the Broncos, but the major difference is that when you win, we won. And when you lost and you're a former owner, they lost.
Right now, they are losing. Back upstairs to you, Dick.
All right, 14-13 Seattle, a 9-yard pickup. McCaffrey catching the Elway throw. Here's Terrell Davis. And Davis shoots up the middle for a first down at the 43. Darrell Williams made the stop.
Well, you're looking at center of the line, Phil.
Oh, yeah. In Denver, they run the ball so well inside. And Brian Habib, number 75, helps with the block, then comes across, knocks out Dean Wells, creates that hole for Terrell Davis.
But Davis, again, so often, how many yards does he gain after he's hit? He's got 66 for the day, make it 67. A blitz, Elway. What a throw. He parachutes that one to the tight end, Dwayne Carswell. Benny Blades makes the tackle. That ball just is perfectly thrown. A little mortar
shot. Tell me he wasn't throwing it away.
Oh, no. He knew what he was doing the whole way. Look at the blitz coming from the outside. Denver can't even pick everybody up. Elway knows that, but he knows he has that flag route. By Carswell, just throws it where he's running to, and yes.
I mean, he had about a 1-foot area to throw that for a completion. 21 yards on the play. Elway moving his team into field goal range, and now the swing to Howard Griffith. Griffith, the fullback, gets a chance to carry the ball off that short pass, and a gain of about 4.
You see what Griffith did, though? Griffith protecting the ball. Listen. But I just really like what he did at the end. He knew he was going to get hit by 2 guys. He put 2 hands on that ball and held on.
From the 33, Davis twists down to the 28-yard line, maybe the 27. Springs and Blades make the tackle close to a first down. He'll be short by a yard. Mike Shanahan grew up in the Chicago area. Dennis Erickson, he's now coaching back home. He grew up just about a half-hour drive from here, Everett, Washington. His father, Pink, a long-time successful high school coach here, watching and cheering for son today. Elway goes a little option play, or a sneak. He saw nothing there, just rolls around the left side for the first down inside the 25.
You know, Philip Daniels is a guy at number 93 at the end of the line. They see no one in the backfield, so they figure, well, I'll go down the line of scrimmage because he's gonna throw the ball. But Elway just goes back outside. Just a little chip block on the outside by Tony Jones. That's all he had to do.
How long is Denver going to get away with this? Nobody in the backfield. That situation, you know, I hate not second guy. I knew it was going to be John Elway on a run.
Picks up the first down. 1.5 left in the third. Griffith, a good catch of a low throw from Elway, and he's pushed out of bounds by Chad Brown. Brown has had a solid game. He made the tackle on Elway the previous play, and he gets another one off Griffith.
Well, Chad Brown, what they've done today, which I can see has really helped him out. They put him up on the line of scrimmage where he gets a little more freedom. He can run, doesn't have to quite read as much, and just go and react, because that's what he is. He's a reactor. Let him chase plays down and make big plays that way.
95 used by the Steelers, 8.5 sacks, boosts that to 14 last year. Earns himself a $24 million contract here. Elway to the end zone, and wide open for a touchdown is McCaffrey. Oh boy. The second for Ed McCaffrey, 21 yards on the play.
This is what you call a little education outside. Ed McCaffrey, we talked about it earlier. He may not be fast, but he's got all the moves, and he is showing every one of them to Sean Springs today.
They're going to go for 2 here because of the only down by 5. They want to get it to the 7 mark.
McCaffrey's 8th catch of the game for 93 yards and 2 touchdowns. He has been a Seahawk record. So go for the 2, 17-12 to score. And timeout called, I believe, by Seattle.
Elway came up and put 5 guys wide, and then they had to call timeout. They didn't have the right defense on the field.
Well, this is the kind of wide-open catch we used to see from number 80 for Seattle, Steve Largent, who would somehow get this wide open. Look at McCaffrey alone when he squeezes this one for 6. 17-12. Downs are 17-12. The score is 19-14. 5 points until the 2-point play by Elway. Wide open. Sean and Sharp. Sharp all alone again. So they get the touchdown and the 2-pointer. 8 points, and both receivers all by themselves. McCaffrey teasing a career day. He's got 8 catches for 93 yards. His most ever is 9 2 years ago against the Raiders, and the most yardage ever 105 against Dallas when he was with the Giants. 2 touchdowns for McCaffrey, and now a 21-14 Denver lead. Broussard gets out at trouble for a moment, and then is smothered at the 23-yard line. Let's go back to the touchdown. McCaffrey doesn't just catch touchdowns. Look how he helps out here.
Well, what happens is when Sean Springs tries to push him and gets him off balance, and Eddie McCaffrey, another double move. He's done it quite a bit today against Sean Springs, taking advantage of his speed, and there's thunder and lightning. He puts those arms up. He's proud of those little pimples on his arm. But watch this, too. Eddie McCaffrey sealing the corner so John Elway can get outside to throw to Shannon Sharp. He told us yesterday that it's more than just catching passes. You got to do all the little things. Blocking for the run, and right there he's blocking for the pass.
So Moon in Seattle from the 23. And he had to get rid of that one. There's in on top of him, Alfred Williams. Williams, who sparked the Broncos last year in his first year in Denver with a Pro Bowl year, 13 sacks and 5 forced fumbles.
Top of the straight, Alfred Williams. Somebody blocked him.
Well,
again, Walter Jones doesn't pick out the right man.
It's got to be a blown assignment. Well, I know it's a blown assignment just watching the offensive lineman. Walter Jones is supposed to step out. He steps down. There's nobody there to pick up the defensive lineman.
Walter is a rookie. The thing that made him upset about Walter last week is he made the same mistake 3 times, Dick. And they corrected it all 3 times. At least tried to.
Play action by Moon. And he throws to the tight end Crumpler, who had a touchdown in the first half. And Carl Lester is tackled by Braxton short of the first down. I'll spot that at about the 28-yard line, a gain of 5.
Well, you know, what they're doing, I think, with Walter Jones is, like you said before, there's 9 men up on the line. So what they're doing is they're faking an inside blitz to him, and he's looking at the inside guy, which would normally be his guy, but they're not bringing him.
That's a good point, because last week he missed that inside blitzer call, calls John Freeze to get that thumb injury. So I'm sure he's a little, every time he sees somebody step up in there, he's thinking of that, so he steps down.
Intercepted by Darian Gordon, and Gordon's going to score. Gordon's first touchdown as a Bronco. He saw that coming all the way.
What that is, Dick, that is just good teaching by the coaching staff. They knew the blitz would come. Seattle couldn't pick it up. They know the adjustment is a slant route. They worked on it all week. You know, sometimes it does work just like it does in practice.
You also have 2 receivers in the same spot. Galloway and Pritchard are both there. Take a look at Darian Gordon. He just steps in front. And then he runs into Tyrone Braxton, his own man, who was going for the ball himself. He had 2 guys in a position to make the interception.
20, make it 32 yards for Darian Gordon for the touchdown, and now Elam. They had the extra point, and that took a lot of spirit out of this Kingdome crowd as the Broncos now forge into a 28-14 lead. The acquisition from the Chargers, Gordon, back after these messages from your local station.
Is intended for...
Welcome back. We open the 4th quarter. The Kenford with Paul McGuire, Phil Simms, and Jim Gray. 28-14 Denver. And Elam sends it high but short to Broussard at the 12. He's got some room now. 40, 50, one man to beat. And tackled at the 42, but a flag is down back at the Seattle 32, and Holdings the call. Oh, my. Negating a big return by Broussard, 46 yards.
Well, you know, if things are going wrong for you, and then you get a great return that somebody holds.
Receiving team, number 63.
I mean, these are
10-yard penalty.
Young mistakes that should not be made.
Let's go back to the touchdown interception by Darian Gordon.
Well, first off, here comes the blitz by the Broncos. Denver sees it. Seattle sees it. The tight end goes to the flat like he should. The receiver reads it on the outside. He runs the slant. Denver knows this is the adjustments. Look at the safety cover the tight end in the flat. Darian Gordon, excellent job. Great anticipation. Steps in front. Gets the touchdown.
Now that's got to be, you go back, spin back about 6-7 days, and some coach is saying, here's what we're going to do in this situation if it should arise.
Oh, and you know what? They're all going to be so proud when they watch that in the film. It's really, you get about one of those a game, and where it works just like you drew it up, and it's exciting when it does.
Swing pass to Chris Warren. And Warren, as they shuttle the running backs, Lamar Smith and Chris Warren, and Warren picks up the first down before Neil Smith can make the stop. Well, we showed you the first quarter belonged to Elway, second quarter to Moon, and Elway said, I don't like that pattern. Look what I can do in the third. 8 for 9, 96 yards, and a touchdown to McCaffrey. Moon's numbers down at 5 for 12. And the big interception that becomes the other touchdown for the Broncos.
So this should be Moon's quarter.
Warren, nothing there except Alan Aldridge filling the hole. Reminder that 2 weeks from now, Tom Kite's American team takes on Seve Ballesteros from the European side, the Ryder Cup. Weekend Saturday and Sunday, 2 weeks away. And of course, Ballesteros has dropped Martin and added Olafable, and then named as well the card picks Jesper Parnevik and Nick Faldo. So suddenly that European side seems a lot stronger.
Yeah, after this play, I want to tell you a little story about the Ryder Cup, how the players in the league follow it too.
Wide open downfield is Crumpler, and Carl Lester's having himself a good day to the 41 first down.
Well, 2 years ago, John Elway tells us this story. They're playing San Diego. Ryder Cup is going on. The game is over. Denver's beat San Diego in this really close, tough game, and he walks across the field. Stan Humphries, good game, and Stan Humphries goes, man, can you believe the Europeans came back? And he's talking about the Ryder Cup, and John's going, man, who cares? I'm playing this football game. So,
he and Stan, both big hitters. They love golf as well.
They love it.
First down for Moon to Galloway, and Galloway has another first down at the Denver 47. Gordon made the tackle as Moon tries to rally the Seahawks down by 2 scores.
This gives you an idea of how much respect Joey Galloway gets. And they were talking about he is probably the fastest wide receiver in football, or maybe the fastest man. Look at the room they give Galloway. But you got Moon coming down the field.
Third season for the former Ohio State star. He had 67 catches and 7 scores 2 years ago in his rookie year, 7 more touchdowns last year. 3 catches today, 63 yards. Swing it to Warren. First down, Warren. Bowls over a couple of Broncos. Gets to the 44, a pickup of 3.
Dick, the one thing they were talking about with Galloway, though, and everybody said he's such a gifted athlete, that the one thing, his work ethic is not what they think it should be. But he can get away with so much because of his great speed and his great ability.
You know, that kind of, is he a gifted athlete? If you don't have the quality of really working hard, I think you're missing the biggest gift of all. I mean, that's what makes Jerry Rice and all these guys what they are, is they have that ability to really work hard and they try to excel to levels never reached before.
Whoops. The entire front of the Broncos charges were they drawn.
They're all pointed Walter Johnson, or Walter the rookie. Everybody pointed at Walter. But the defense is saying that they're offside.
Against Denver.
You know, it is amazing here, the Seattle Seahawks, they have 2 number 1 draft choices. Both of them make the team.
On the defense, number 91. The movement by the offense was caused by the defense being in the neutral zone. 5 yards, still second down.
Excuse me, Walter Jones. But they have two number 1 draft choices, one A and B, and Walter Jones happens to be one. And both of them make it, and both start.
There was Jones reacting to Alfred Williams. Good call, and it's second down and 2. Jones from Florida State was the 6th player selected. Sean Springs the 3rd. I feel they got 2 prime stars of the future here in Seattle, and those 2. Warren shy of the first down to the 38-yard line, where it'll be 3rd and 1. Trailer and Tanuvasa in the center of the Denver defense to make the stop.
I think just talking about those 2, I think they're both going to be stars. And Walter Jones came in just a little bit of work during training camp, and when you watch him, he has all the abilities to be the what you want, that perfect left tackle who can really protect the passer. Has feet, you know, he has feet that are like a tight end or a running back would have. He can dance around, and that's what a quarterback wants.
Shy of the first down, so they needed 2, and on 2 tries have not been able to pick up the first down.
Tanuvasa again, number 98 for Denver. He makes 2 plays in a row. and it is decision time. You know, you're at the 40 at fourth down.
Yeah.
Field goal doesn't do you any good. You got to go for it.
Sure, there's no decision here. You don't think. You just call in the play that you got for this situation, and you go with it. You need a touchdown here.
They bring in Lamar Smith for Chris Warren. 4th and 1, under 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. 2 touchdown deficit staring at the Seahawks.
He did not make it.
The Broncos are out to congratulate the defense. 3 tries. They needed 2 yards, Seattle, and apparently, from the reaction of the Denver sidelines, did not make it, but the officials are going to measure.
You know, Paul, it looked like they got a good enough surge physically up front. I didn't think the running back just plowed it up in there fast enough.
Smith doesn't do it. Watch what he does. He dances. If he doesn't make it, it's his fault, not the line. Watch what Smith does here. When he gets the ball, see him stop?
Man, just
you've
plow
got
it.
to.
Oh,
you really do. You have to plow up. He doesn't make it if it's that mark that they get there.
You got to know the situation as a running back. You really do. Know what's needed and just do whatever it takes to get that little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's no hesitation on this. This is straight up in, and I don't think they didn't make it. But you can't hesitate. Not in the short yardage situation, 4th down. You've got to blow it in there as hard as you can.
He only missed by a couple of inches. So Denver takes over on downs with the lead.
Okay, I want you.
Excuse me.
Denver here in the second half. Gordon with a touchdown, and then they stopped the drive by Seattle at the Bronco 37. 3 tries for the Hawks to get 2 yards, couldn't make it. 9:40 left. Elway gonna throw it away. Let's go back and see these Broncos on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, you got good coaching, good reaction by the Bronco defense here in a good situation. And then you have something that every defensive coordinator would be proud of. All of his guys going to the ball, ganging up, and making a big play.
In the second half, Seattle, 2 punts, interception for a score, and out on downs. That's Sally Amua off the ball early. Didn't see any movement. Let's see what the officials say.
Well, that was John Elway
Prior to
barking.
snap, encroachment, defense, number 97, 5 yards, still second down.
Dan, who said he almost joined Mama down there in the San Diego area, as Chargers were one of his picks to move.
Give that one to Elway.
Oh, yeah. John is good. John Elway is good for 2 of those a game where he can give it that bark of his and draw the defensive lineman off sides.
2nd down and 5. Griffith out of the backfield, toss to Davis. Terrell struggling for inches when he wants yards as Winston Moss there to make the stop with others. 3rd down, and still 5 to go. No gain for Davis. Now the Seahawks, true to their plan, they wanted to stop Davis, stop the running game. Done a pretty good job today.
They have done a good job. It's just a few little breakdowns here and there that caused some big plays that hurt them on the offense. And Ed McCaffrey, that's the guy that didn't count on doing so much damage.
Davis this time. Seahawks may have been looking for the throw, and it was finally Chad Brown making the tackle from behind as Davis is inside the 45 of Seattle.
Dick, I was looking for the throw, but there's only 4 guys. Look at the 4 defensive linemen and 1 linebacker in there. So the 5 offensive linemen occupy all of them. There's nobody there to make the tackle.
You know, for the last couple of years, we've been talking about it. Elway's team. And Elway on 3rd down is going to throw the football 99% of the time. This guy, Terrell Davis, has been around a couple of years. He gives you that added dimension. That's the difference between this Bronco offense from years ago.
86 yards today for Davis, looking for back-to-back 100-yard games. And he's down to the 35-yard line and 8 more before Moss can drag him down.
That was good on the 3rd and 5 when they ran it, that was the coaches have been seeing that tendency by Seattle to, not put enough people in there to stop the run. And I just watched John Elway in the last run. He running in there for 7 or 8 yards. He looks at the sideline, and you think he threw a touchdown pass. He was so excited because you're a quarterback and you're out there in this situation, and you can run the football like this. It is really exciting for you.
Second down, and Elway in Denver chewing up the clock. 7:35 now left in the fourth, and Elway then does something he doesn't want to do, and that's burn a timeout here and stop the clock. Midpoint of the fourth period, Broncos by 14. This is the University of Washington here in Seattle. Look at this. 2 men have run the ball for Denver today. Davis, even though you feel that Seattle's harnessed him, there's the throw to Sharp, and complete and a flag down. This time it's Willie Williams, the former Steeler, interfering, and that'll give Denver the ball at the 1-yard line.
You know what? I'm telling you, and I know Elway did this on purpose. He had to. Darrell Williams, he knew it was going to have pass interference. There's nothing he could do because he has to run behind the receiver. And when he did that, Elway throws it short.
Number 26, that's an automatic first down. Number
27.
27 is Willie Williams. But look, here's the play. Watch this thing. The Smith is downfield, but watch this. Williams has got his back totally. Yep. You can't put your hands up in the guy's face. Hits him. It's pass interference. And you know Elway threw it short.
No question, Paul. He did it on purpose. The defender was pulled. They're looking for the short pass just to pick up the first down. Denver goes deep. He can't react.
Williams, perhaps with a cramp, he had those legs stretched out as if he'd cramped on the flag after the interference call. First and goal at the 1 for Elway. For the touchdown. Davis with a touchdown now in 8 of his last 9 games. His second this season.
You know what I find amazing today is a lot of people are getting up and leaving, but Seattle's played a good game. They've played tough, hard, and all those things. And look at the scoreboard. 30. It's going to be 35-14. That's what I find. That just shows you the gap the Broncos have over a lot of teams. Even when you play well and play hard, they can still beat you by a couple of touchdowns.
Well, Seattle in the first half threw everything they could possibly throw, all the emotion and everything at Denver. And then the second half, Denver just took over with all their talent.
It is 35-14, and Terrell Davis and John Elway know well that these games aren't just one game. You've beaten another AFC Western opponent.
Look at help him.
Well, let's see what Russ does here on the kickoff team as Elam sends it toward Broussard. Broussard out to the 25-yard line. Byron Chamberlain in on the tackle. And Wayne Carswell. Well, here's the new Third Rock game plan.
It's just a jump to Wednesday.
Third Rock's jumping to Wednesday, starting September 17th at 8 Central. They're going long for the big play. And a score, Third Rock's on the move. Wednesdays this fall.
You know that's Phil Sims' favorite show?
I know it is. He loves that show.
I look like a lot of fun doing that commercial, flying around like Peter Pan, all that stuff on. You look good, Nick. You look those black tights.
A big, heavy Peter Pan.
You'd be a good Captain Hook.
Oh, the blitz is on.
Moon dragged down and has to throw it away. Neil Smith all over him. Galloway was the closest receiver.
We're seeing a lot of guys coming through untouched. Neil Smith, watch the move he's going to make to the inside right there. He just goes inside, the back steps up and never sees him go by and just grabs Moon.
I mean, you know what it was? It was another blown assignment. House, Ballard, and the back both go out and block the same guy, and nobody's blocking Neil Smith. Now, they should put pressure on the quarterback when you're not blocked. It's about 4 times today we've seen the same mistake by the Seattle Seahawks.
And Moon not wasting time getting rid of this one because he was being drilled again. Mike Pritchard was the receiver downfield.
Oh, Michael Dean Perry, I mean, just leveled him. They have a deal in the defensive line. Michael Dean comes around the outside from Tuanabasa. Nobody blocks him, and watch this. Wham! He hits Moon going. I mean, Warren will be sore for about 4 days.
Offensive linemen are taught when the guy over you goes one way, look for somebody else coming around and replacing. Pete Kendall, number 66, a little late in reacting.
On 3rd and 10. Moon drills it. What a catch by Galloway. Oh, talk about gifted. Ray Crockett with good coverage. Moon lines one in there, and Galloway with the diving catch.
Let me tell you, Ray Crockett, number 39, covering Joey. He can't believe this is caught, and he gets up, and he's mad at both of these safeties, Tyrone Braxton and Steve Atwater. Where were you? Good coverage, just an excellent throw and catch.
And before the snap, the flags fly. Dennis Erickson was totally...
Prior to the snap, false start, number 1, 5 yard, still first down.
Totally destroyed after last week's humiliating loss, 41-3. And as you said, this one's going to be almost tougher to digest because, in a way, his team has played very well.
Well, no, I don't think it will be, Dick. I don't mean to disagree with you, but they played hard. They conquered that. It takes this kind of effort. I think they realize that this is a talented team to play, so they'll take that into account. If you keep playing hard like this, get rid of some of those silly mistakes, learn who to block and who to cover, they got a chance.
Moon to the sidelines for Galloway, but incomplete. Crockett covering. And penalties have been the demise of this Seattle effort today. Look at that, 134 yards contributed to the Denver cause on 10 calls, and many of those have been interference calls.
Right.
One set up the last touchdown.
Well, you remember last week when we talked about Mike Shanahan saying, you know, we had a victory, yes, but we had penalties on those drives. They had 8 or 9 penalties last week. They've got it down to 4 for 25 yards.
Right, in Seattle, penalties are called, but not being in position, and sometimes it's because of the talent on the other side makes you cause those penalties. So Denver has a lot to do with that today, just outplaying Seattle in certain situations.
6 minutes and change left. Lamar Smith caught in the backfield, gets away. He was caught by trailer for a moment. Romanowski finally made the tackle.
Someone said it a long time ago when they called it like that, like a jailbreak.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, Denver sent everybody. They had everybody blitzing. They had safeties and corners. I mean, guys coming up inside. And Warren Moon sees it. You're running a draw into a blitz into the middle line of scrimmage. There's just no place for it to go. And you can't get out of it.
So he'll go to the shotgun on 3rd and 14.
Real quick and duck.
Galloway far out to the left. They throw underneath to Crumpler. And Carlester is to the 45-yard line, a couple yards shy of a first down. Romanowski and Mobley over to make the stop.
You go for it here. I mean, you're down 21 points. I mean, there's nothing. You get beat by 21 or 28. What difference does it make? You go for it. 4th down.
Yes, and in this situation, and Warren Moon did the right thing.
But don't call it running play.
Threw the ball short, pick up some of the yards, because he knew they were going to go for it on 4th down too.
Meanwhile, Carlester Crumpler with a touchdown and 5 catches today for the backup tight end. They respot the ball right on the 45. 4th and 2.
You got a little less than 2 yards. And if I were Warren Moon, I think I would throw the ball.
Meanwhile, the clock continues to run. 4:35, 4:34 left, and Denver with a 35-14 advantage. Out of the backfield, Smith again. The stop on the start. Does he make it this time? It'll be close.
He makes it.
Gordon and Romanowski team up on the tackle.
If he got to the 43-yard line, he's got a first down.
Well, that was, Paul, we talked about it. That was a good job by Lamar Smith, knowing the situation that time and really fighting for the extra yard, trying to get that first down. Down the field, Warren Moon sees nothing open. He drops it off. That's
say Romanowski, these guys, they played this perfectly. But Smith does this on his own. If he gets it, he did. I don't think he's got it. I think they're going to be short about an inch or two because I thought the ball got down to about the 43-yard line. It had to. Here I go again. I'm right.
You're 100 yards away, an inch or two.
It's an inch or two. He missed it by an inch. How much did he miss it by? An inch.
It's at least 3 inches.
What are you talking about?
Good as a mile. And on downs for the second time in their own territory, Denver takes over in downs. As you look at our Miller Lite game summary, 35-14 lead. Elway, another solid game. Couple of touchdowns to Ed McCaffrey, who has 8 catches in all. The penalties have spoiled many an effort by the Seahawks. 134 yards that become a contribution to the Denver cause. 3 on pass interference, and there were a couple other illegal chucks downfield. Broncos with 4 minutes plus left and work on running out the clock. That means Terrell Davis, who goes to the 49, and that'll put him over the 100-yard mark. So 101 yards last week and over 100 yards, now 102 today. And of course, last week it was Adrian Morrell of the New York Jets. And Morrell rushed for over 130 yards against Seattle. Today, Terrell Davis.
Well, when you look at this Seattle defense, you would think that would be one of their strengths because of the size they have up front and the good interior linemen.
Davis again. He has the first down to the 43-yard line.
Well, when you looked at Morrell run against Seattle this last week, they ran straight ahead with Morrell, too. And you're doing the same thing with Terrell Davis. Terrell Davis are running straight at the line of scrimmage, so all you really have to do is block 2 linemen. And the linebackers are not making the fields they're supposed to. We looked at the stat last week about tackles, and when your defensive backs, your 4 starting defensive backs, not nickel backs and dime backs, but 4 guys lead or have more than 50% of your tackles, you've got a problem.
You know who's had a really wonderful game today? We never talk about him enough. Brian Habib, the right guard, has dominated inside for Denver today. He has had a terrific game on blocking down, trapping, and opening those holes up for Terrell. I'm not a good prognosticator because everything I think is going wrong, but they have shown that they're still hungry. They brought a lot of new talent in there, and it's really worked well for them so far the first 2 games.
Derek Lavelle gets his first carry as a Bronco, the former 49er. In fact, the former Seahawk. He came into the league in 1990 with Seattle as a free agent out of the University of Oregon.
I think the other thing is, Dick, when we watched them practice last week and we commented on the day we were coming over here to the game, is that how in shape the team looks. I mean, they really do. They're really lean. Everybody looks like they're in great shape, and they had a great commitment to their off-season program, and it's, again, it has shown in the first 2 games.
Inside the 30-yard line, and another Denver first down at the 2-minute timeout. 35-14 Broncos.
He becomes the 15th different player in baseball history to reach that milestone. Griffey has 19 games left to hit 11 home runs and tie Roger Maris's all-time record. Let's go back to Griffey's home park, the Kingdome, and rejoin Dick Enberg, Paul McGuire, and Phil Simms.
All right, Greg. Well, some of the news is mighty good here for Seattle fans. It's interesting, 10 years ago, you couldn't buy a Seahawk ticket, and you could almost sit anywhere you wanted in the Kingdome for the Mariners. Now it's totally reversed. Ken Griffey Jr. It's interesting. There's Griffey, son of a famous baseball father, and Sean Springs now, following perhaps in that pattern, the son of a very successful NFL player, now playing in the same city. To the 25-yard line. Let's go to Jim Gray.
All right, Dick, just an interesting note. The Denver defense throughout this season, now through 8 quarters, has scored as many points as they have given up. 7. Dick?
You know, you're talking about you could buy tickets there and not, or here now, not there. Do you know that Seattle this year, they do not have 1 game that's sold out?
In football, no games are sold out?
No, not 1.
About 50,000 here today at the Kingdome. The facility seats 66,000 for football. New stadium already under construction just outside the dome. Lovell to the 21-yard line. That'll be shy of the first down. Bring up fourth down, and they don't have to run another play. And Seattle has no intent of calling a timeout, obviously. So the season is a two-game struggle for Dennis Erickson. He's now 0-3 in his opening games here and 0-3 in his second games as the coach of the Seahawks. And Mike Shanahan continues to field a very solid team and living up to all the predictions that his team will be one of those seriously to consider for a Super Bowl spot. For Phil Simms, Paul McGuire, and Jim Gray, I'm Dick Enberg. That's it from Seattle, where once again our final score, the Denver Broncos 35, the Seattle Seahawks 14. We'll be back here at the Kingdome in Seattle, Washington, but first we pause for these words.
A lot of fun playing characters that
Adley, then our NBC movie tonight, Lethal Weapon 2. That's just ahead here on NBC, except here on the West Coast. Let's hear from the victorious Broncos. A couple are down with Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Dick. Well, I'm here with Terrell Davis. Terrell went over 100 yards for the second time this season. Terrell, how frustrating was it for the Broncos? Because almost for the second week in a row until this second half, you dominated a game and had very few points to show for it.
Well, we almost came up with the same scenario as last week. The emphasis this week was basically red zone. We wanted to come in the red zone to put points on the board. And early on, of course, the first drive, we settled for a field goal. So there was some concern early in the game, but I think that once we came back out and had that second drive, we scored a touchdown, we renewed our confidence.
Terrell, talk a little bit about the defense. They've scored as many points this year as they've given up, just 7.
That's the kind of defense that you would like to have out there, a scoring defense. Not only are they efficient as far as stopping the team from getting in the end zone, they're putting points on the board. And the offensive play, you can't ask for anything else.
Congratulations, Terrell.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, let's send him out upstairs to Dick.
Terrell Davis over 100 yards again in the touchdown. Ed McCaffrey with a couple of touchdown catches as the Broncos beat Seattle 35-14. Next Sunday, more exciting NFL action begins at 12 noon Eastern with the NFL on NBC. Most of you will see Dan Marino and the Dolphins battle Brett Favre and the defending Super Bowl champion Packers in Green Bay. Others in Indianapolis Colts and the Seattle Seahawks or regional action. Check your local listings for the game in your area. Coming up next, except on the West Coast, Dateline NBC, followed by Men Behaving Badly, then the NBC movie Lethal Weapon 2. That's tonight on NBC. For Phil Simms, Paul McGuire, and Jim Gray, this is Dick Enberg. So long from Seattle. You've been watching the NFL on NBC, network of the Super Bowl.